Can do, boss man.
We can make that happen.
You.
And a kiss. I can make a kiss happen
On
too.
my wiener.
Mwah.
That's why
What was that?
What was the problem?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another edition of the Bros and the Berg podcast. I'm your co-host, Ryan Doyle. If you're a returning viewer or listener, you already know this. If you're somehow new, come across one of our clips on any of the social media platforms that you might be doom scrolling in bed, we welcome you. We welcome you into this safe space of learning and opinions. Psych, that's actually not what it is.
I was about to say.
We're going to clap back on any of your comments. And
Our takes are right. Yours are wrong. Even if ours are proven incorrect, ours are still right.
Exactly.
And we're going to constantly disagree with each other and insult each other. So that's what you have to look forward to for the next hour.
But our takes are still right. Even though if our takes disagree with each other, they're still right.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, if we cover all the takes, if each of us take an individual
there
take,
it is.
then we're right. Basically all of the time.
Correct. Robbie's in his bag right now. He's
Facts.
9:40. It doesn't matter what time it is.
He's
locked in. I'm locked in.
He's in something.
Mm-hmm.
We are recording this podcast on a lovely Wednesday evening, September 24th, after the Monday night game, before the Thursday night game, kind of locked in the pocket. Lots of stuff to break down. Connor, what are we starting with today?
Well, Ryan, as you know, we are deep in the swing of football. I saw somebody the other day, it was like a TikTok that was saying that we're already more than a quarter of the way through college football. I want to throw up.
Don't love that.
Don't say that.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I don't, especially if we consider the playoff as an additional 4 games.
Right.
Yeah, so I guess they were saying, I guess regular season was there.
You can't scare me like that, brother.
Yeah, we still got playoffs and everything. But yeah, we're going to start with, speaking of the playoffs, we're going to start with college football, a little bit of a week 4 review. First and foremost, Robbie, do you just want to go through our pick'em results and then I'll move on from there?
Yeah, so we had a great week last week, guys. We were all over 500. I went 3-2. Connor and Ryan here both went 4-1, so that's pretty solid.
Here's the thing: our one loss, point differential,
wipes out the rest.
Yeah, right. So plus minus is even.
To be fair, I don't think there's a single human on this earth, even the most diehard Indiana fan, that would have predicted that score outcome. I don't think there's a single person out there that would have predicted that score outcome.
And then Ryan, tack that on to us both picking Tulane, who also got boat race.
So speaking of, I did hit my Superdawg last week because Memphis pulled off the comeback upset against Arkansas. So the standings as they are currently, I have 9 points. Connor has 9 points.
I have not gotten on the board.
Ryan has 6 points because he's not hit his Superdawg yet. That's the difference. We're all even basically. Otherwise, in terms of the pick'em, Ryan just hasn't hit a Superdawg yet.
Dude, the parlays and the dogs are not Ryan's friends.
Yeah, we're not doing a parlay today to save me. I once again went 1-3 because I am allergic to sports gambling. This is why I don't actually put money down on this shit, because I would be so destitute.
Coward. This is why you're not hitting.
Exactly.
What do you mean, coward?
I actually did put in my parlay last week. That did get locked in. I also put in a Ty Simpson future bet for the Heisman winner.
You did tell me this,
which could be a little spicy.
We'll
find out if it's a good bet or not this weekend, especially with John Mateer being out, which I'm sure that we'll get to. But
you might have a positive cash out right now.
I actually might. I have not looked.
You might.
Go ahead, Connor.
No, I was gonna get into just some of the details of this game. So, just one of the first ones on my screen real quick, and this was also one of our pick'em games in the Big 12. Texas Tech, beating Utah 34-10. I will say that score isn't fully reflective of the game. The game was actually pretty competitive to a point, and then when Tech delivered the dagger, they just decided to tack on a few more, and it was just kind of, in the second half, they really kind of laid it on Utah. But it was a relatively competitive game to that point.
Yeah, going into the fourth quarter, it was 10-3. I mean,
it was
definitely not.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were saying over, and glad we didn't actually,
I think we called that out though, that everyone thought it was going to be over, and therefore it wouldn't be. I think we did call that out. Texas Tech defense, man, looks good.
Yeah,
they look good.
That NIL money,
ain't no joke.
Big 12 pick.
I saw a tweet that was talking about the top 7 teams in the transfer portal, like ranked for recruits and people that have come in, are undefeated, the top 7. So it's like, man,
I think it's interesting. I think, and maybe I'm wrong here, this is just me spitballing. I feel like it's easier to build a defense through the transfer portal than an offense. Because you don't have that timing and chemistry down, like especially receivers and quarterbacks. I think it's a little dicey. But defense wise, if you play your assignment,
right.
Yeah, I do think that's a relatively fair take, but I would push back a little bit in terms of like when it comes down to earlier in the season, defenses are always ahead of offense because it become, they need to mesh this unit more on offense and everything like that. I mean, we're seeing it with Texas and Arch Manning where it's like the offense is shaky, but it's a generational defense just because I actually don't know what that is. I don't know if it's more of a nerves thing on offense to where, you're actually having to control
I think it's
the
a
ball.
timing thing. Offense is so timing dependent. Like if you haven't had those reps even through spring ball and fall practices, it's just about getting reps in. Especially in like a full game speed. Speaking of Arch Manning, I'm guessing we're not going to touch on this game, but him flexing on a Sam Houston State defender in the end zone is foul work.
Crazy.
It's Sam Houston State, brother. Like, come on, they haven't won a game yet this year. Like, let's not.
Bro's mental is in the garbage if he's actually doing shit like that.
That was crazy. Yeah, Sam Houston State's lost to Western Kentucky, UNLV, Hawaii, and now Texas. Like, let's not be flexing on these guys.
We gotta chill. But yeah, to move on to another game, another one that similar to the Texas Tech Utah game kind of went down to the wire, or not quite to the wire, but once they delivered the dagger, they took over. TCU beat SMU 35-24. That was a pretty good game. I don't know if you guys had anything on this, but it was just a good game.
TCU, I talked about the quarterback for the year. He's looking good so far. Looking all right. So
definitely. Swinging it over to another one of the pick'em games, Oklahoma and Auburn. Oklahoma took it by one score, 24-17. To Robbie's earlier point, John Mateer, I mean, definitely looking like the Heisman favorite. A lot of the guys that were reportedly the Heisman favorite, whether it was Nussmeier, Klubnik, Manning, none of them have really panned out to this point. But unfortunately, he has gone down with an injury.
He's going to be out for, I want to say it was like 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, he had surgery today or yesterday or something like that. So hopefully he makes full recovery. I wish him all the best in that. But yeah, so maybe Robbie's Ty Simpson bet might
I mean, looking good. A month of the season knocks you out of the Heisman race, like no doubt. Yeah. Like even if Mateer comes back and lights it up, you can't miss a month of the season and come back and win the Heisman. So
I do agree.
Is the favorite Carson Beck now?
Correct.
Yeah, it
is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But
Miami showed out. He's played well. I think it's kind of his to lose at this point, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
Real quick on the Oklahoma Auburn game, these teams are so similar in how they currently played. I mean, just the highlights and the box score. I truly think that this game, if it's played 10 times, they split 5-5. Yeah. I really don't think Oklahoma's got that much more talent above than Auburn. I think Auburn's a little bit better than people thought. Truly. For sure. So I'm really interested to see how they do down the stretch.
I just don't know how Oklahoma makes it through their schedule with few enough losses to make the playoff. They've looked good. I think Michigan and Auburn are both decent teams, like top 25 teams. But you have Texas, you have at South Carolina, who hasn't been played great, but Columbia's never easy. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU.
We're the same way, bro. We have 4 straight ranked games, South Carolina, then LSU and Oklahoma. Like it's like the SEC is a fucking gauntlet.
Yeah.
What are the games that OU are playing without Mateer? Let's say 4 games. Let's say it's 4 games. Who are they playing against?
Kent State, think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then he's going to miss the Red River Shootout. Oof. Then at South Carolina, at home against Ole Miss.
They could feasibly get through that.
I think best case is 2-2. I think I see a world where they go to Columbia and lose that game.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at 1-3.
Brother,
I'm not sure that it'll happen, but
do Texas and Oklahoma score more than 24 points? I'm serious. With a backup quarterback going against that Texas defense.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma's defenses look great so far this year too.
And Arch Manning flexing on Sam Houston State defenders. I mean, that's really what's the over on
I want to know if that'll be the lowest over under in that rivalry's history. Because like I feel like up until like a certain point, like there's going to be a chance.
And it's going to be game day. I mean, right? There's 7 versus 10 currently, and probably. I don't see either of them losing in the next week. I mean, Texas should still beat Florida. Poor Florida. I mean, they're just getting run through at the moment. But yeah, no, that game will be under 30. Book it.
Sure. I think that's a very, very fair take. To move on to another game, another one of our pick'em games, came down to an only 3-point differential. Michigan sneaking out the W against Illinois in Nebraska, 32-27. Sorry, Rob. Sorry that
they were in the game. You know, I mean they played tough. They were in the game. Can't get them all right. You know,
I was good to say.
they're not out yet though. If you somehow go on the road to Happy Valley and beat Penn State,
there it is.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they're not out of it yet.
Exactly. To touch on another one real quick, I know we were talking about it a little bit. Kind of, we love baiting Notre Dame fans. I mean, that's one of the top things that we do. But they did manage to pull out the win against Purdue, 56-30, get their first win of the season and remain ranked there. So congratulations to the Fighting Irish.
I will say, giving up 30 to Purdue is a little tough.
I did, and it wasn't. Yeah. And it wasn't like it was at the end of the game. Like Purdue had 23 points at halftime.
Yeah. They made some great halftime adjustments, but Purdue has looked kind of meh.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll cover two more here, but the last ranked matchup that we're going to talk about is Illinois, Indiana. Indiana winning 63-10 against Illinois.
Yeah, Indiana fans were making phone calls to their doctors because it was still up after 4 hours.
I saw multiple Indiana fans say that is the best game Indiana football has ever. No, he's right. I think he's right. I think he's locked in. And I've seen multiple Indiana fans say that is the best game that has ever been played in the history of Indiana football. And I'm tempted to believe that.
I mean, 63 points. Like, it's not like Indiana. Even when Indiana is really good, Indiana tends to be like a defensive-oriented team. Dropping 63?
They ran for 312 yards.
Yeah.
That's disgusting work. You know how many yards Illinois ran for? 2.
I
can't imagine how they didn't win that one, honestly. Another Heisman name we probably need to throw out there if Indiana keeps on this track. Fernando Mendoza, former Cal quarterback playing Indiana, had a great game, 21-23, 267 yards and 5 tutties. Yeah, a casual day at the office.
Arch Manning dreams of that stat line.
Is Indiana good or is Illinois fraudulent?
Both. I think it's kind of in between both. I don't think it's necessarily full one and full the other.
Kind of like the Alabama-Florida State outcome that we think Florida State's probably pretty good and Alabama's probably not as good as we thought they were.
I think that's
I don't know, man. 63 is
crazy.
It's crazy. Like that is you give up. Yeah. Is that the biggest Indiana men's football or basketball win in the past 25 years?
Probably. They beat Indiana State 73-0 the week before, but
no, emotionally.
For sure. It was also I think the biggest loss ever for a top 10 ranked AP team, if I'm not mistaken. Because
that's
Illinois
crazy.
Was ranked 9.
That's wild.
I mean, what was Florida State ranked in when they got boat raced by Georgia? I guess that was not regular season, but
yeah, maybe that's the description. Also, that game that doesn't even count because so many of them opted out. I don't even count that game in my head, but
yeah, fair. And we're going to talk about one more here, and actually 2 more here because we'll get on to something a little special. South Carolina, Missouri pulling it out 29-20. Congrats to Missouri. I mean, this game, what was it, 20-29 that I said? Missouri pulling it out in the last quarter.
I really got to stop believing in South Carolina, guys. I got to stop.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mod Hardy from Missouri. Had a great game. Kind of ran all over the place. 138 yards, 6 yards a carry. Another good day at the office there. So
yeah, Missouri is also going to roll in to play Alabama undefeated. They play UMass next, so they'll be 5-0.
Oh, here's another fun rushing spread. Missouri ran for 285 yards.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina ran for -9 yards.
You're not going to win many football games, and the fact that it was single digits is
that's
actually crazy. They covered. The spread was 13.5.
The fact that 1 by 9, that's wild.
Negative rushing yards.
Yeah, because Lenore Sellers ran 10 times for negative 28 yards because sack yards count in college stats.
Yeah. How many sacks did Missouri have on him? Probably a decent amount.
Give me just a second. They had 5 sacks.
Yeah, I mean, there it is.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, that's it right there. And then the last thing we're going to talk about, probably the biggest thing that the dozens of fans have come here for.
Dozens.
Actually, I would say the majority of our fan base is probably here to listen to you talk about this, Connor.
Oklahoma State, in fact, lost to Tulsa at home this past weekend. First time it happened since 1951. In all honesty, kind of inexcusable for a program the caliber of Oklahoma State, and I think most people would probably agree with that. And a couple days, or was it yesterday? It was yesterday. The news came through that Mike Gundy was officially fired after only week 3 of this season.
Go Pokes!
Yeah,
Connor, I want to get your full thoughts on this. You got to give me your rundown here.
Okay, so I've always had a bit of a complicated relationship with Mike Gundy. I mean, Ryan and the rest of my family can tell you that I've wanted Gundy gone longer than most, even before this whole kind of last 3-year streak started. Just because I always felt like I recognized that Mike Gundy had a very clear ceiling to him. And I was talking to people yesterday I was talking to Jude specifically yesterday about Mike Gundy and his tenure at Oklahoma State, and he's like, yeah, obviously one the winningest coach of all time, like took us to an unbelievable amount of consecutive bowl games, winning seasons, everything like that. And he was like, yeah, and he is, and I was like, but Jude, what did he actually win? And he was like, oh, he has like a few Big 12 championships, and I said he has one. He had one Big 12 championship in his entire tenure. That was 2011. That was the year that, if we didn't lose Iowa State, would have gone to the national championship. And then obviously, the most recent heartbreak is 2021 to Baylor. But I think, unfortunately, the times just kind of passed Gundy by to where he just didn't want to keep up with the NIL stuff. I mean, you saw the comments before the Oregon game, and obviously that didn't look good before the Oregon game, but that didn't look good after the Oregon game. And I think you could especially tell after that and before Tulsa, he was just kind of checked out. I am astonished that it happened in the middle of the season. And to me, what that signals to me is that they have somebody in their mind lined up already. I don't think there's any chance in hell that you pull that move and don't have somebody that you want to go after and bring it to the program.
I slightly disagree. I am proud of Oklahoma State for like no mutual parting of ways. Like,
you're gone,
fired. Like you can't be losing to Tulsa. I think you have to preserve whatever dignity is left within the program by like any recruits that are looking on, showing like this is unacceptable. Sure. Like this, like
no one wants to come there after you lose to Tulsa. It's no recruiters looking at that being like, that's who I want to play for next year.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how long you've been here. You pull shit like this, like you have over the last 15 games, and that's not acceptable. Honestly, I was, very different like age demographic, but I was drawing a little bit of comparisons in my head. And this is kind of a reach, so stay with me here. Between Saban and Gundy, when you said that the division in the league has passed him by. I think Saban saw it on the wall that he was just not going to be able to keep up like that anymore, and like took his exit. Gundy stayed as head coach probably like 4 years too long.
Here's another comparison for you that's more recent that the coach did. I guess he was technically mutual parting ways. Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
His last few years in New England, and we see it now with how Carolina's been playing so far. I think he's not one. I don't think he's fit for the college game, but also I think the times have passed him by a little bit. I have two hypotheticals for you guys. I think one of them is fun, and one of them's probably a little bit less fun. Which one do you want first?
Less fun.
So, Connor, you're talking about the they might have a guy in mind.
Yeah.
We talked about his team struggles. We were talking about Texas coming to visit them next weekend. What if Billy Napier ends up in the coaching carousel and would want to come to Oklahoma State?
Yeah, I don't know. Even though I say that I think that somebody lined up, I really have no idea who that feasibly might be. I mean, it's so hard to compare. It's like to try to put somebody else in a different program and like imagine what they're going to do. I mean, you've seen it, coaches go elsewhere and it's completely different than previous.
I think Napier is a pretty solid coach. I don't think he's done well in Florida. I don't think that's the environment for him, but
sure. I don't know.
It's going to be, and Connor, Dad, and I have talked about this ad nauseum about Oklahoma State. It's just not a coaching location that like the next Dan Lanning is going to come to, right? It's going to be something that you potentially have a coordinator that proves himself, that eventually like gets the head coaching job and like, really just sets up roots and is like there for the next 25 years again, right?
And let me tell you, no coordinator is proving themselves right now.
Well, I do think it's a good spot for a coach, for a retread, which I know we talk a lot on the show about, how once you're a coach in a sport, you just get to have a job for life, kind of no matter what happens, no matter how bad you are. To me, like it's a good fit for someone like Billy Napier, who I think has underperformed expectations and maybe just needs a change of scenery. And maybe that's the right spot. It might not be him, but I don't think that's a bad option.
Yeah.
The more fun hypothetical, Connor, you talked about 2011 and that brutal night in Ames. Do you know Iowa State's last game of this season?
I do not. I don't think
it's
so.
It's in Stillwater. Is the very last game for Iowa State this year.
So yeah.
Play a little spoiler and get them back for 2011. That could be fun. That could be fun.
The difference is, though, there's no way in hell Iowa State is competing for the national championship.
But they could be competing for a playoff spot.
That's true.
100% be competing for a playoff spot. So,
but yes, Oklahoma State just has to beat somebody. I mean, we're talking about Iowa State, brother. I mean, it is.
I just have this feeling they're going to play spoiler in a game this year. I don't know if it's in Lubbock against Texas Tech, if it's Iowa State, if it's like maybe a Kansas or Arizona. They're going to play spoiler to someone. I don't know who it's going to be, but
I agree with that. Somebody said, and funnily enough, we're talking about it before the podcast. Somebody's like, "What if John Gruden comes back to coach the Pokes?" And I was like, "That'd
be crazy.
That'd be crazy. There's no way." Again, the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. Like John Gruden is not doing that. That would be crazy. But yeah, I mean, I wish him all the best. He brought an immense amount of success and eyeballs to the program. Unfortunately, like we said before, the times just kind of caught up. I do think that there is potential that he has. I mean, we've seen obviously him have sort of a charismatic edge, whether it's the "I'm a man, I'm 40" speech or various things he's done throughout the year. So I could definitely see him going into some sort of sportscaster role. I definitely think he could have the potential for that.
He's not a coordinator. Like
he's done.
I think if Nick Saban was at Alabama, he'd be perfect to just bring on as an analyst for Nick Saban's school for coaches. But
so we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm anticipating a 2-win season from now on, to be totally honest. So,
but that second win's gonna go crazy. I'm feeling in my gut that second win's gonna go crazy.
So, so we will move on from the review and the whole Mike Gundy breakdown. We're going to talk about our pick'em games. Robbie, would you like to present them for the week?
Yeah, I usually do them in order of time. Connor so graciously helped me put together a list because I was running behind. So
I apologize. Apparently, I bummed it up.
All right, so the first game we're going to talk about, we just talked about Illinois coming off a tough loss. It doesn't get much easier from here. They have the undefeated USC Trojans coming to Champaign for a noon kickoff.
Yeah, wow. That is kind of brutal. That's a
brutal.
It is.
And USC's look pretty good.
Yeah. Does Illinois get back? Because I'm still trying. Some of these I'm still thinking through because I'm like, some of these I think are actually going to be really close.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
The reason being that the Illinois defense looked so bad last week.
Yeah.
And USC, if there's one thing we know what USC is going to do, they're going to come in, sling the ball around, run it on you, all of those things with Lincoln Riley back there. 6.5 is a lot. I agree with Connor. I could see it being close, maybe a touchdown game.
Yeah.
But I think USC pulls it out.
I would agree with that. There's certain games where you lose in such a fashion that it's very much a slippery slope from like a mental point of view. I don't know how mentally resilient or tough this Illinois team is. I think, USC is definitely talented. enough to beat them if Illinois has another off day. So I'm going to go with the Trojans. I think the Trojans cover.
I feel like people talk a lot about the hangover from a big win. There's a hangover from a big loss too. When you get blown out like
beating.
that, yeah.
Not so fast.
There it is.
You know what?
You know
what? Illinois, I got to stick by my guns. We were talking a little bit about it last week. Robbie was like, I can't Texas. You can't pick against Texas Tech because you picked them in the playoff. And I'm going to stick here. It's one really bad loss. I'm not denying how bad of a loss that is. But typically, one loss it'll get you in still. So technically, in my mind, Illinois hasn't been eliminated from the playoff by any means. So I got to stick by that preseason prediction. And although last week did not look good, I think that at home, I think it's going to be a little bit of a bounce back game. I mean, USC, has looked decent, but really, I mean, last week Michigan only beat Michigan State by 2 scores. I think there's definitely a reality in which that Illinois could pull this one out. I think it'll be close, but I think they could pull this one out. So I'm going to go with Illinois.
All right. I like it. Next up on the schedule, 3:30 kickoff from Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi. The LSU Tigers come to town to play the Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling on this one. I'll be totally honest. But I'll go first. Once again, I'm going to stick by my preseason guns. I had the LSU Tigers in the college football playoff, and I'm going to stick by that prediction now. I really do think that there's still a bit of a talent disparity in terms of like the LSU and Ole Miss, and I think that comes into factor this weekend. And I think that LSU manages to pull this one out.
Not so damn fast. Yeah. And it's quite simple. Ole Miss has looked a lot better than LSU. We were like, wow, LSU won the season opener against Clemson. Well, we see how shit ass that Clemson team is, right? Mm-hmm. The other games that they have played, they beat Florida by 10 and
with 5 picks.
They played and they beat Louisiana Tech by like 15, right? They haven't really, for a number 4 team in the country who has a guy who's in the top 3 favorite to win the Heisman, I really haven't seen anything to justify that. Ole Miss played a good Tulane team and beat the brakes off of them. They're hosting them in Oxford. I think this is all Rebels.
Is it weird? This is the game I'm most confident in this slate that we have.
Wow, he said it.
I am just not a believer. This means I'm going to be wrong. However, I did all the points Ryan made. I am not a believer in LSU. My biggest concern is certainly that the LSU defenses look good, and Ole Miss, the strength of their team is definitely on offense, right? They let Arkansas score a whole bunch of points a couple weeks ago. That's a concern, but that LSU offense looks terrible.
Correct.
And Brian Kelly, the way that Brian Kelly is getting so defensive when people call out how bad the LSU offense is, tells me that he doesn't think it's going to get fixed anytime soon. I don't know if you guys saw his blow up after they lost to Florida, and they're like, why can't you guys run the ball? And he just like lost it on the reporter. They couldn't fucking run the ball. Like, that wasn't a bad question. They literally couldn't run the ball.
Average Brian Kelly reaction.
At home in Oxford. This is the Magnolia Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, is the name for this quote-unquote rivalry game.
Crazy work.
It's a good poll.
Thank you. So I'm gonna go with the Rebels at home.
Yeah. It looks like the spread currently on it is Ole Miss, so -1.5. I mean, if you add in the home, so technically LSU. I mean, obviously they're ranked higher.
LSU should be favored. I would say,
favored.
Yeah, that's interesting. I also wanted to quickly address, because obviously we talked about the whole Gundy thing and times passing him by and everything like that. I mean, do we need to have the same conversation about Dabo, like with Clemson? I mean, is it time? Is it past time? Like,
he's got natties. It's just it's slightly different. But
if now. Clemson doesn't make a bowl game this year, though,
if they don't.
I mean, they were in the playoff last year. It's a crazy thing to talk about, but they snuck into the playoff last year and got really lucky that the ACC was ass cheeks last year. Otherwise, they would not have made the playoff.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I guess we'll
much
see.
to think about. Next up, there's 4 really good games this weekend, and there's not really a 5th one to look at. I mean, Auburn at Texas A&M is interesting. Notre Dame at Arkansas is interesting. Notre Dame's only a 4.5 point favorite in Fayetteville.
That is interesting.
That's an interesting line. Let's see, Tennessee and Starkville could be a little spooky. Mississippi State's looked a little bit better this year. But the game we're going to pick is a Big 12 showdown of 2 undefeated teams. Arizona traveling to Ames, Iowa at 7 o'clock to play the Iowa State Cyclones.
See, like every other game, and this is coming from a dude who went to a Big 12 school and has grown up with the Big 12. Like this game just elicits no emotional response out of me.
No.
I just don't care.
This is going to be a sicko game. I can just feel it.
Yeah. I don't care about this game. And quite honestly, for me, it comes down to the home team more than anything else for me. I think obviously, I mean, we talk about it to death, obviously because of the PTSD associated with it, but Ames is one of the scariest places in the country to play.
And it's a night game.
It's terrifying to play in Ames. And I really think that Arizona is not going to be able to handle it. I mean, like we said, they are undefeated and Iowa State's only favored by 6.5. I mean, honestly, I would have expected a little bit more. But I do think that Iowa State in the Cyclones hand Arizona their first loss this season here.
Every year there's that team where you get about halfway through the season and they're still undefeated. And you're like, how in the hell are these guys undefeated? And I just have a feeling that it's Iowa State. Every game
I'm going to say the same shit.
Every single time you look at one of their box scores, you're like, God, these guys are terrible. They barely beat Arkansas State or whoever, but they just keep winning. And in this Big 12, all you have to do is just keep winning. It doesn't really matter how much you win by. So I'm going to take the Cyclones at home just based on that fact.
Yeah, between Kansas State, Iowa, and Arkansas State, they've won those 3 games by a combined 14 points. So they're just
Iowa football right there.
But they're staying alive, right? That shows resilience, that shows toughness, right? I think I'm going to go with the Clones here as well, just because they until they don't win, I think I'm just going to continue to pick Iowa State because they just keep pulling it out somehow.
Next up, we'll go to another big matchup in the SEC this weekend. Ryan and I's Alabama Crimson Tide traveling to Athens, Georgia to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. Both teams coming off a bye, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But
tied for first or second biggest SEC matchup this weekend, tied for first, second biggest Big Ten matchup this weekend. I mean, they're huge games with huge.
It's a nice slate, and we got the Ryder Cup this weekend. Goes crazy too.
There it is. I would like to hear from the Bama boys first on this one. I would like to hear.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to not pick Alabama. Like I'm just not going to. Here's what I'll say. Ty Simpson has obviously looked a lot better against lesser competition.
Mm-hmm.
The question is that because the competition is lesser or because he's got comfortable? I think it's probably both.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even in the Florida State game, when you kind of watch him throw the ball, it just looked good. Like I can't explain it in any other way other than it came out of his hand. I was like, damn, that's got some zip
pop
on it.
That ball's
got a nice spiral on it. It looks good. And that just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. We know that Georgia has an Alabama problem. This is the first time they've played in Athens in quite a number of years.
Yeah.
But I think Ty's already had that tough road experience, lost that game. Alabama's a little bit healthier coming in this game. Jam Miller will be back. Tim Keenan will be back. I like the Tide to go into Athens and get the win.
I'm not picking against Alabama.
We're unabashed homers on this podcast.
It's really not shocking here. For all the things that Robbie said. I'm not convinced Gunnar Stockton's him. Actually, I don't think anybody really is. We saw how vulnerable that Georgia defense looked against a Tennessee team that should have won that game. I'm sure the Georgia team will be looking for revenge after last year where they were so close from coming, getting boat raced in the first half and almost coming all the way back. I think there will be a lot of emotions in this game. I think it'll be a very, very chippy game. But I have to go with the Tide. I just can't do it. Just can't pick against them.
See, gentlemen, I came into this and I expected to go one way, and then in the middle of your explanation, I almost went the other way. But I'm not. Unfortunately, I can't. Everything was pulling me to pick Alabama when you guys were talking. But just looking at the scores, I just think that, especially last week, that the test against Tennessee at Tennessee going into overtime is really more than I think Alabama has been dealt this year. And especially going into Athens, I mean, against Kirby Smart, obviously Kirby Smart is currently the best coach in college football. And like you said, it's been a long, long time since Alabama has visited Georgia. This isn't an Alabama team of the past. Ty Simpson looks very good. Ty Simpson, in my opinion, is better than Gunner Stockton. I don't know if that's a hot take, but in terms of what we've seen, I think that's easily, for me, that's what I believe. So unfortunately, I think this Georgia defense might be a bit too much to handle for him. But yeah, I think it's going to come down to kind of that home advantage as well as just Kirby Smart. I think Kirby Smart is going to out coach Kellen DeBoer. I think that's what it's going to come down to be honest.
I think it's a fair pick. I mean, it's essentially a pick 'em on a neutral side. It's Georgia -3.5. So
yeah, which is kind of crazy that Alabama like warrants that. I mean, I get it because obviously Alabama keeps beating Georgia in the past.
Correct.
But like, so
some interesting stats to point out here. Just some notable ones. I was kind of reading through the preview. Alabama is 119th in third down defense, allowing opponents to convert 46% of the time.
It's not great.
Not something we can do against Georgia. Alabama also ranks 91st in the FBS, averaging 61 penalty yards per game. That's such a departure from a Saban coach team. That's one of
they got a little sloppy towards the end of his tenure, though, too.
I agree. Compared to Georgia's fourth ranked 26 per game average, I think if we can get off the field on third down, I think if we can not commit stupid penalties and move the chains for Georgia, absolutely have a chance. We're also 112th in FBS in red zone defense, allowing opponents to score on 100% of trips. So maybe we get some turnovers in the red zone. I mean, that'd be nice.
And Ty Simpson has to keep taking care of the ball like he's done. That's the one thing, even through the Florida State game, he took care of the ball. He has to keep that up.
Yes, sir.
And then the last game we're going to pick, undoubtedly the game of the weekend, a whiteout in Happy Valley. Oregon coming to town to play Penn State at 7:30.
I don't want to go first. I would like to hear somebody else's.
You go first, right? You haven't gone first yet. I can go for it.
I'll do it. Oregon's looked real good.
Yeah.
I think not a lot of people can argue this. Penn State normally plays Michigan and Ohio State every year. They don't play Michigan, but they do play Ohio State. I think Oregon subs in for Michigan, and Penn State does what they do and loses their two big games every year. I am picking the Ducks to come in on a whiteout night and make a statement to the college football world that they're legit and they're here to play. So I'm going with the Ducks.
Robbie?
Here's the thing about this game. Neither of these teams played fucking anybody. And I'm seeing a whole lot of Dante Moore glaze. Like for him tearing up Northwestern, no offense, Connor, Oklahoma State, and Oregon State. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's great, but like, I don't know why all of a sudden we're convinced Dante Moore is this incredible quarterback that's, going to take Oregon the distance. On the other hand, Penn State also hasn't played anybody and honestly has been terrible at covering their spreads even against some of these teams like a Villanova or an FIU or whoever it may be. That being said, I think we talked about in the preseason, this is the best team that James Franklin has had at Penn State, just from a talent perspective. Mm-hmm. At home in a whiteout, Oregon's not Michigan. I know they're one of Penn State's two big games, but they're not Michigan. They don't have that history of not being able to beat them like they do Michigan or Ohio State. Because it's Happy Valley in a whiteout, I'm going to take Penn State because I just think they're the more talented team on paper. Because honestly, all of their results before this game mean nothing to me for either of these teams.
Yeah. I do have to agree a lot of what Robbie just said, especially that last sentence he just said, where it's a lot of the games that have happened before this point don't really mean a lot to me. Like, obviously, we're seeing on one side, Penn State seems to have more of the growing pains than Oregon has. But again, to Robbie's point, Oregon hasn't played anybody. So Oregon is just, they have so much more talent than the teams that they're playing against that it's not even like they don't even have to be polished. They don't even have to have creative offensive, defensive sets. Like, they are just a more talented squad. I am also going to pick Penn State. I think I said before the season that I think Penn State and Ohio State are just going to be right there jostling at the top of the Big Ten. I think that, like I said before, Jim Knowles is a big part of that. I think that his defense in this game is going to that's going to be the telltale sign of whether they can pull someone out. Oregon, while they've looked really good, I just don't think that they have played anybody that would signal that they can come into Penn State on a whiteout night and grab the win. So I'm also going to go with Penn State. And I guess we'll see.
It's a long travel day for Oregon too. That's not
that's
an
a good
easy
point.
trip.
This is a rematch of the 2024 Big Ten championship when Oregon did defeat Penn State last year. Storyline to watch out for: Oregon is the national leader of big plays with 31 plays of over 20 yards through 4
When are
games.
they not?
Right. No, it's very much like characteristic of that team. And shockingly, Penn State has allowed just 2 of 20 plus through 3 games. So it'll be who controls that big play explosiveness. Should be a good game. I think Penn State is favored by 3.5 at home, which makes a lot of sense. The line is 51.5 total points.
There we go. All right. Are we getting into our Superdawgs? Is that what we're getting into now?
It'd be helpful if I had one.
I got one.
You guys go first.
Yeah, Ryan, go ahead. Lead us off.
Robbie, you made a comment earlier of how hard it is for teams to come off that hangover from a massive loss as well as coming off a massive win.
Mm-hmm.
The Iowa Hawkeyes host
Indiana
this weekend, and Iowa, lost an absolute nail biter to Iowa State week 2 of this year. And Iowa is oh wow, that line has moved a lot, actually.
I still see it at 7.5.
Yeah,
it opened at 3.5 and moved to 7.5. So there's a lot of money flowing for some reason. Why is that? We're gonna swim upstream because I don't know what's going on with all that. 4 points by Wednesday is a lot of points to move for a college game.
Crazy.
So I'm just gonna do the exact opposite of what everyone else is doing and pick Iowa to be my Superdawg of the week.
You know what, guys? It's not noble. It's not even brave. It's quite honestly, it's cowardly what I'm about to pull out. But I kind of, there are a lot of games this week that are the 7.5 line. So it's kind of right on that line that we tend to base our Superdawgs off of. And I don't feel good about any of them. I'll be totally honest. I don't like taking the underdog in any of them. Wake Forest piqued my interest just a little bit against Georgia Tech, just a tad, because I don't think Georgia Tech's all that. But you know what? I'm gonna go with just what the biggest spread that I see is, and that is Missouri against UMass. Missouri's pretty good.
43.5.
It is 43.5.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points for Missouri to win by. You know what? It is feasible. It's totally possible. But I am trying to hedge my bets here because I hate all of the closer lines.
You're just going for a point essentially because we know UMass is going to win the game.
Oh no, God no!
Yeah, UMass is bad. I mean, they are very bad at the game of football.
They just lost 47-7 to Iowa. So. We'll see what happens. It's just the biggest spread that I see. I mean, that's
the 20.5 point dog pokes didn't pique your interest against Baylor at home.
I don't want to ever.
Don't want to go to that well.
No? Oklahoma State ever again.
Connor, you talked. There's a lot of 7.5 point spreads here, and I'm going to take one in a battle of 2 undefeated Power 4 teams that we didn't even really talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The Washington Huskies hosting the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah. Ohio State is a 7.5 point favorite. That makes sense. I'm on board with that. However, in Seattle, at home, Washington's been quietly pretty solid so far this year.
True.
I could see this being like a field goal game or something like that. Or because I feel like we're a little due for a big upset that we maybe didn't see coming.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they pull it off. So I'm going to go with the Huskies at plus 7.5.
Love it.
I do like that. I like that a lot. All right, so that in terms of college football, that wraps it up for us. We're going to stick with the game of football, but we're going to move to the NFL and professional football. We got some things to talk about. Not going to cover every game from this past week, but just some of the ones that I believe were most notable. I mean, Ryan, I got to come over to you because obviously, you've inherited the Cincinnati Bengals as your team. Joe Burrow goes down last week, and then they get absolutely curb stomped by the Minnesota Vikings, 48-10. Isaiah Rodgers with one of the best defensive games I've seen in the last 3 years. Like he had he had a pick six, he had a punch out, and then for another touchdown return, and then he had another punch out that should have counted but didn't. So yeah, one of the best games I've seen. But I just wanted to get your thoughts from the Bengals there.
Yeah, no, it was tough. I mean, you look at the box score, right, and you see that the Vikings had double the total yard than the Bengals. You're like, yeah, the Vikings obviously won this game. Mm-hmm. But you don't think they won 48-10. I mean, they didn't even they had 350 yards of offense. That normally doesn't translate to almost 50 points. Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz threw for under 200 yards. Jordan Mason had himself a day, 2 tutties on the ground.
But Wentz looked solid.
Yeah,
he didn't really have to throw the ball.
No.
Yeah. Because the defense was scoring for him.
The Bengals defense is bad. I think this is a shock to no one. The Bengals offensive line is atrocious. Chase Brown,
it's
they're not able to get the running game going. All of this is falling on Browning's shoulders. Even you saw Burrow was struggling. I mean, it's tough when you pay your two top receivers $250 million and your franchise quarterback is out for 3 months. I mean, and you pay the sack leader. You got to pay the NFL sack leader, right? And then you're like, where all these 4 guys have all this money, and then it's tough. Cincinnati is at the top of the AFC North, shockingly. Yeah. Like, I mean,
not for long,
for sure. Baltimore at 1-2, I think is a little bit surprising, but they've had they've had some early tough games.
Except unfortunately, Baltimore plays Kansas City this upcoming week. In a battle of 1 and 2 teams.
There's no way the Ravens lose to the Chiefs. There's no way.
What if they do?
The Chiefs are bad.
What if they do?
Chiefs are bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just tough luck. I feel honestly, like, as much crap as people want to throw at Jake Browning, I just feel bad for him because, like you said, it's just the Bengals.
Tough situation for sure.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's talk about Kevin O'Connell real quick. Obviously he's kind of developed this reputation of being able to develop veteran quarterbacks into being really good. Kirk Cousins comes to mind. Obviously he was already solid, but then we have like a Sam Darnold last year who played very well. Like Ryan mentioned, Carson Wentz didn't exactly, blow up the box score, but he didn't really have to. If Carson Wentz ends up being reliable for the rest of this year, if they don't bring JJ McCarthy back or whatever, when do we need to talk about the fact that Kevin O'Connell can't draft quarterbacks, but has to have an old, worn-out veteran quarterback to coach rather than a rookie? Do we start having that conversation if Carson Wentz is good this year?
I just don't know if that's like a conversation that people think about. I mean,
I think about it. I think
it also just shows how solid this Vikings team is. That you can.
Or does it show how bad JJ McCarthy is?
We knew this. This is.
Ryan
I have been calling.
Ryan did know this.
I have pegged the Vikings
on
everything. Right? I said Jez is not going to be a top 8 receiver so far this year. He's done shit. He has 12 catches on the year, and that's absolutely a consequence of quarterback play. JJ McCarthy buns while playing healthy, and now he's hurt because he sucks. What
the hell?
Where's the miss? Where have I missed?
No, I mean, yeah,
fair point. Cooking.
He is cooking.
Speaking of cooking, the Carolina Panthers.
I was just about to swing it over because
obviously to ass,
obviously
division rival.
Right when I'm out, they pull me back in every single time.
30-0 against the Falcons.
Obviously week 1 was tough, but there's a weird weather delay going on there. It is what it is. The first 2 series of the Cardinals game, back-to-back turnovers, they score on both. You're immediately in the hole. Come back and have a chance to win the game at the end because you recover an onside kick and have an opportunity to score. They don't, but in that game. And then you come home and just whoop a division rival like that. Granted, Bryce, again, didn't play great. But it's the same thing talk about with Carson Wentz. He didn't really have to because the Falcons offense is just so bad. I mean, just abysmally bad. After that pick six happened was really, I think they went up 17-0 on the pick six. The game felt over at that point. Yep. I mean, it was
because you have Bijan and you can't get Drake London the ball. I mean,
you can't get Kyle Pitts the ball.
Well, they never do.
More his fault than anyone else.
Whoa! He's having a better year this year than he ever has before.
I mean, Michael Penix is 50% completion percentage, 2 picks, 1 being a pick six, like Robbie said, made the Panthers look like an all-pro defense, which they're not terrible. Truly, they are improved from last year, but 30-0. I mean,
it feels good.
The opposing team's quarterback threw for 120 yards.
Right.
What are we doing?
I think the Panthers defense is feeling like they're turning it around. I think there's still a little bit of a talent issue on the defense, but Evero finally got his head out of his ass. Some people were saying that he was intentionally coaching the defense into the ground to get a buyout, which I did kind of believe through the first couple weeks, but turned around this week. The Panthers, for their next 5 games, are against all 4 teams from the AFC East. So, I mean, the Bills probably not going to beat them, but the rest of that division is terrible. Yeah. And then they have the Cowboys hanging out there in the middle, who haven't exactly come out gangbusters so far this year.
Let's not.
What do you mean that?
I'm coping, but the Panthers could be over 500 here in a few short weeks. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Wasn't that your prediction? Wasn't it 9-8?
9-8. I think it's alive, guys. I think it's alive. If you can go out and beat the Patriots and Dolphins the next 2 weeks, you're 3-2. That's doable. That's definitely doable.
For sure. But to quickly touch on what Ryan was mentioning with obviously Michael Penix not playing very well through these couple weeks, there have been rumors. So we'll talk about another game here. Russell Wilson on the New York Giants has officially been benched for Jackson Dart. We will come back to that quickly, but apparently there are rumors that Penix has a bit of a hot seat currently, and head coach of Falcons Mostert denied. I think Mostert. I meant Morris denied that was the case, but apparently there are internal rumblings about maybe Kirk gets another shot. There are talks about that.
I think that Raheem Morris hates Kirk Cousins.
Sure.
He just came out and it's like, yeah, he lost the job last year. He's not getting it back.
He didn't lose.
He did throw a stray at him. That was crazy.
I was like, that's just unnecessary, honestly.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So, I mean, I get what he's saying though, right? One bad game, it happens. If you're Penix, I think it's been more than one bad game, but whatever.
Yeah. Been a few, but yes.
My biggest takeaway from this Panthers game was Bijan Robinson is really good at football.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really doesn't matter. He's averaging 5 yards a carry. I mean, he's just him. Truly.
Keep in mind that the Falcons did not take a snap from within the Panthers' 30-yard line the entire football game.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a bad
Real
game.
bad.
Yeah,
real bad.
It was rough, for sure. That's one you just ignore. That game didn't happen if you're a Falcons fan. You just, can't even look at it.
Except the Panthers could go 1-16 this year, and they would just hang that over the Falcons' head for the rest of the year.
Hold these, if you will.
So, Ryan, you had a bit of a visceral reaction. We're only going to talk about maybe 3 more games here, but one of them, obviously, I mentioned his name before. Giants, no shock. They lose to the Chiefs 22-9, but after that game, it was officially announced that Russell Wilson has been benched for Jackson Dart. Ryan, you had a reaction to that.
The ball's a terrorist.
He's saving his job. That's all he's doing.
Yeah. He's a job merchant.
He's attempting to save his job,
He is a paycheck merchant. Russell Wilson, I don't know if you watched any of the Chiefs-Giants game. The play calling was fucking atrocious. I mean, you wouldn't even allow Russ to try to take the top off like he did against the Cowboys. Granted, the Chiefs secondary is much better than the Cowboys. But, I mean, it was just dink and dunk all game. I'm like, why did we change the playbook so much from the week prior? Also, I have a lot of opinions on starting rookie quarterbacks when you have a perfectly serviceable veteran quarterback, Hall of Fame. I mean, I don't know. I think it's too crazy.
I think Russ is still a Hall of Famer, probably.
Why are we benching the veteran Hall of Famer when you are still the worst team in your division and just throwing the rookie out there behind a pretty dog-ass offensive line, but besides their left tackle?
And let's talk about the timing of this based on the Giants' upcoming schedule, fellas. We have the Chargers coming to town this weekend. It's not an easy matchup. That
That's a
defense is pretty
loss.
good. Derwin James is going to eat him alive. You go to New Orleans, play the Saints. Okay. And then you have Eagles, Broncos, Eagles. You're putting him out there against some of the best defense in the NFL right off the bat.
I don't understand it. It blows my mind.
The entire thought process for Dabble is, okay, if I keep losing with Russ, I'm 100% losing my job. If I put Jackson Dart out there, maybe he shows a flash here or does something there, he can kind of tie himself to Jackson Dart and say, look, like this guy could be something, like let him have a stable coach and keep coaching. That's what he's doing here. No doubt. That's all he's doing.
Right. They're tanking for a better pick.
The Giants are a poverty franchise, and that's coming from a Cowboys fan.
Stuff.
I mean,
I don't want to talk about that game.
Yeah, Cowboys, Bears, Cowboys suck.
I mean, Cowboys are bad. Like, let's move on. They're so irrelevant.
The secondary is making Caleb Williams look like a Pro Bowler.
It's actually insane.
It is. If you combined the Bengals and the Cowboys secondary, they would still be a bottom 5 secondary in the league. Let that sink in.
It's true, though.
Like, I am just watching football teams that cannot defend the pass. I'm going to start streaming quarterbacks who are playing either one of those two Joker teams.
We do have to talk about that Caleb Williams throw on the flea flicker. That shit was crazy.
He uncorked
the air yards on that were crazy.
He said, dust off the old shoulder here.
Throw it over that mountain over there.
Ryan, you said streaming. Would you like to mention your fantasy football success in this?
I would like to mention my injury cheek clapping from one of our leagues. So I'm in an 8-team league on Sleeper, classic PPR, nothing crazy. So far, my injuries have tallied up to Joe Burrow, CeeDee Lamb, James Conner, Xavier Worthy, Aaron Jones.
Yeah, this is cooked.
So my starting running backs right now, Javonte Williams and Trey Benson, because they let me get him off of waivers. I don't know why. Both of those dudes have been off of waivers. Our bench is only 5 deep.
Dead, so the benches are 5 deep.
Gross.
So I had to drop Burrow. I'm like, he's not coming back till December. December. I picked up Goff, and I'm like, let's go, let's run it.
Yeah. No, fair.
And that is a punishment league. So
it's the hot dog league.
That is glizzies down the gullet.
I did pick up a win in that league this week. So
there it is. Nice. So Ryan's eating the glizzies.
Ryan's by himself in last. Yeah, he's by himself in last.
Honestly, though, like Benson and Williams is not the worst running back duo you could have in terms of like having your main 2 guys injured. So
yeah, I got Marv. He sucks.
Yeah, it's not
he's
great.
Really bad.
I offered a second to Carson for him in Dynasty this week. It was not accepted, but I figured I'd try to, capitalize on the drops from this past weekend.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Nico Collins now has an injury designation, so he might not even play. So, all right.
My Dynasty team is cooked with injuries right now, too.
All right, so 2 more games real quickly I want to mention before doing the preview. Rams-Eagles proving yet again that they just have that winning gene in them, that intangible gene that just they are able to go get it.
Watch, bro. Everything just goes the Eagles' way.
Philadelphia ended up winning 33-26.
I picked the under on that, by the way.
Good pick.
2 blocked kicks.
The Eagles remembered that Jalen Hurts can actually throw the ball. Like
Correct.
we were like, oh yeah, we can still do that. And then just took over in the second half.
Yeah, exactly. 2 blocked kicks. The last block kick resulted in it was Jordan Davis, right? Jordan Davis taking it all the way back to the end zone. When he blocked it and then picked it up and ran.
Why does that man run so goddamn fast for being so goddamn big?
Correct. So I will say though, like in the course of this game and in the past 2 weeks, I have been very, very impressed. Even though they lost this game, Matthew Stafford's been playing like pretty well in terms of where he's putting the ball and everything like that. I've been impressed with Stafford these past few weeks. So yeah, I just want to give him a little shout out,
especially since he was like hurt all offseason.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Like ancient at this point. So,
yeah. And then the last game I want to mention, Monday Night Football between 2 of the powerhouses in the NFL. The Lions pulled it out 38-30 over the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry ? Hold on to the ball ?
3 fumbles in 3 games. Tough.
Yips. Maybe,
which is crazy for Derrick Henry to have. He
got stuffed 3 plays in a row on the goal line when the Ravens were trying to go. I mean, is he
No,
showing signs of slowing down.
Don't say that.
No.
Don't say that. Robinson's a
Lamar Jackson is better than you think he is. That was my takeaway from the Lions game. Some of the throws that he makes is just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. Remember when people said he was a running back?
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about? That was the worst take of the internet.
Justin Fields is who people thought Lamar Jackson was.
Correct.
Good take.
Yep.
Great take. That's right. Yes.
Let's also give a big shout out to the Detroit defense, though. 7 sacks on Lamar is crazy work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy man to tackle.
No,
he's quite fast, quite slippery, and 7 sacks is pretty impressive. So,
for sure.
I would like to say before we get into our next week. So, looking at the standings after week 3 on the NFL, these teams are remaining as undefeated. We have the Buffalo Bills, the Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Indiana Jones.
Why is Indiana Jones good?
LA Chargers.
Herbo is elite.
Eagles.
He is really good.
Top 5.
Eagles. Niners are somehow undefeated after everyone being hurt at one point.
Except Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, literally the one that it's a curse. It's either him or it's the rest of the team.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Baker Mayfield, baby.
They have a plus 6 point differential through 3 games, and they're 3-0. They just keep figuring it out.
Panthers are second in the division. So
there it is.
Great.
I do quickly want to. Sorry, I forgot to mention the Lions-Baltimore Ravens game. So obviously, Jahmyr Gibbs lead back in the backfield for Detroit, but David Montgomery ensuring that his job is safe. 12 carries, 151 yards, 2 touchdowns. That dude runs like the other team owes him money. He is so angry.
I saw a clip. He was being interviewed for a podcast, and podcast host was like, because he had that touchdown to go up at the end of the game, and he's like, Demo, if the Ravens didn't have any timeouts and you could have like got the first down and gone down, would you? He's like, fuck no, I'm scoring that shit. They don't pay me to not score touchdowns. I'm like, hell yeah.
Big shout out to the NFC West. Every team with a positive point differential. It's kind of crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
The Niners at 3-0 with a plus 10 is also kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But
so let's get into this next week, gentlemen. I only want to go through a few games here because I don't want to hold you guys too much longer. I will say this is kind of a sicko week. This week is not great in terms of matchups, but let's talk about one of them. Let's talk about Baltimore and Kansas City. The Ravens are visiting the Chiefs. Where do we think this one goes? We think Mahomes pulls it out, or we think that Baltimore gets back in that win column?
It would take some magic out of a hat, I think, for Mahomes to win this game. They just haven't looked good. I think they get Xavier Worthy back this week. Somehow that man's playing through a torn labrum, which I still can't wrap my head around. Yeah. Kelsey is a fossil. He and Mahomes are no longer on the same page. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It'll be. I think it'll be tough. It's hard to imagine the Chiefs going 1-3 to start off the year, but we'll see.
It's certainly possible. Another one I want to give notice to is Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. That's a pretty big game with some decent connotations, especially within the NFC. So what do you think? Give me
the Bucks.
Oh, okay.
The Bucks have been in the Eagles' kryptonite a little bit here as of late. So
I also want to point out one of the largest line differentials that I've ever seen for like an early to mid-season game. Yeah. The Bills are favored 15.5 against the Saints. I don't think that's enough points.
Truly, I agree with that.
What's the stat though? If it's like over 13, like you should actually take the cover in the NFL,
right?
Like when the spread gets that large,
that is pretty easily.
Yeah, in Buffalo.
I mean, probably. They're probably going to drop 60 on.
The Vikings and Steelers do play in Ireland this week, so make sure to set your fantasy lineups if you're starting somebody on those teams.
Justin Jefferson.
Aaron Rodgers?
DK Metcalf, I guess, is the others.
If you're starting Jordan Mason and Jettas, make sure they should be locked in anyways, but
That's crazy.
You fellas want to help me out with something real quick?
No,
Sure.
It's gonna be something.
So I'm in a survivor pool for work. Started off first 2 weeks, 2-0, cooking, doing great. I picked the Texans last week just because I felt like it was like a get right game against the Jags. That didn't pan out, obviously. So I think we collectively now, as a podcast, do my survivor pool together for the rest of the year. Thoughts?
I like that.
Sure.
So I'll tell you what I have locked in currently. I currently have the Lions against the Browns. I just don't see the Browns pulling off upsets back-to-back weeks. We didn't even talk about that.
I've seen this movie before.
I said it was a trap game last week.
Yes,
I agree.
I got shoo-shooed.
No, you could go back and watch the clip. I'm like, I agree. However, I'm still doing it.
Yes, you're right. I forgot to mention that the Browns beating the Packers 13-10. As soon as we called the Packers like the best team in the NFL,
Yeah,
of course.
All right, so here's the games I'm looking at. You guys can tell me what you like here. Keep in mind that I can only pick one team once for the whole season. So once I pick them, I can't use them again later. But I think Bills Saints feels pretty safe.
Yes,
to go with the Bills. Like I said, Lions Browns, and then Chargers Giants. To me, those are the three that pop off the screen.
Bills.
Bills. No do I go and burn? Do I go and burn the Bills?
Do you just take anybody the Saints are playing?
Yeah, like literally, actually.
They're not going to go 0-17 though. They're not.
No, of course not. But like,
could.
But like they're not. But then it gets in the strategy of like, do I save the Bills for later when it gets to like the last few people left and I need a win? Kind of. I guess I need a win now though. You're right. All right, we go Bills.
Yeah, I definitely go.
I think
Bills
it's just quite that simple.
Yeah,
we go Bills.
All right. So there was, and then the one more game I want to mention this next week is the Monday night game. Is the Green Bay Packers at the Dallas Cowboys.
That's the Sunday night game, brother.
Excuse me, sorry, Sunday night football game. Micah Parsons returned to Dallas.
Dude, I was looking at the Monday night.
I'm not watching football next Monday. I'm not watching football next Monday night.
7:15 kick. Is that say the Jets versus the Dolphins?
Are we going to act like Bengals Broncos is going to be a whole lot better? That Broncos secondary is going to eat Jake Browning alive.
I was about to say that.
Tickets are $26 for the Jets Dolphins game.
Sick, though.
I mean,
that's actually sick.
Click in a Miami.
Yeah, can we
Miami Monday night? Really?
Wow, that is awful.
$27. Holy shit! No alcohol. What does that mean? Sorry, I went stuff up.
So yeah, this unfortunately this weekend. So this weekend of college football is really exciting. Big Ten, SEC, huge matchups there. The NFL, maybe just watch the Ravens, Chiefs, and Eagles, Bucks, and nothing else. That's pretty much all you need to watch for this next week. We're gonna move past the NFL though. I have a few miscellaneous headlines I do want to cover.
Can I talk baseball? I mean, we're getting down to the absolute wire. I think there's like 5 or 6 games left in the regular season. Everything is locked up in the NL besides the last wild card spot that is currently being fought over between just 3 teams. 4 teams are technically in it. Realistically, the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Reds are all within a game and a half of each other for that last spot. Don't worry, the Reds had just dropped the second game in the series to the Pirates. Mets are currently getting their doors blown off by the Cubs, so all those teams are about to be within like a half game of each other. Pretty exciting. On the AL side, the Blue Jays and the Yankees have clinched playoff spot, as well as the Mariners. We still have the Red Sox, Tigers, and Astros fighting for 2 of 3 wildcard spots in the AL. And then the NL, the Cubs and Padres have locked up playoff spots, as well as the Phillies and Brewers and Dodgers.
We have to talk about the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers very quickly. The Guardians are currently in first place of the AL Central. On July 8th, the Cleveland Guardians were 15 and a half games behind the Detroit Tigers. If they were to win the division, which they are in the lead of now by virtue of, I believe, sweeping the Tigers here recently,
yep,
it would be the largest division comeback in MLB history.
Jeez.
15 and a half games back
That
in
is
July
crazy.
is crazy to come back from.
Just in the last 10, it says it all. The Tigers are 1-9 in their last 10. The Guardians are 9-1 in their last 10. The Tigers hold a one or a half game lead over the Astros right now for a third for the last wild card spot. I mean, this is a generational collapse from the Tigers, who were absolutely the best team in baseball before the wild card break, or excuse me, the All-Star break. Yeah, they got swept by the Guardians, the Braves, lost 2 of 3 to the Marlins. There looks like they're going to get swept by the Guardians again. I mean, they got swept by the A's earlier in the month. I mean, it's just been pretty crazy to watch. So
shout out the A's for not being last in the AL West this year.
Woo! So very exciting coming down to the wire for baseball.
Absolutely. And we also, those of the audience members that listen and everything like that, obviously we've kind of shifted just towards the football and basketball side of things. I think that's kind of where most of our knowledge comes from, to what our favorite is. But definitely when we get into the postseason of baseball and everything like that, we will cover that a little bit more as that arises. Funny enough, after all the baseball talk, one of the headlines that I did have and wanted to talk about quickly was an MLB headline. Here it is. Robot umpires are coming to the big leagues in 2026 after Major League Baseball's 11-man competition committee on Tuesday approved the use of the automated ball/strike system. ABS will be introduced in the form of a challenge system in which the human umpire makes each call, which can be appealed to the computer. Robot umpires have been tested in the minor leagues since 2019, with recent testing done at AAA since 2022, MLB spring training this year, and at this summer's All-Star game in Atlanta.
Thank God. I mean, how long we've had VAR and like FIFA?
What about tennis? Tennis was using it for years.
Yeah.
Like, as long as I can remember watching tennis, they've had this kind of like review where they can see if it lands on the line or not.
And I would, this is easier, I would argue, for a computer. Just like a static strike zone based off like a player's height and whatever. Like, thank God. The umpire union sucks. They've kept some really shitty umpires in the game for way too long that have like made it about themselves.
Angel Hernandez. Sorry. That was weird.
Say it with a jest.
Very excited for this.
I'm also glad that they took the proper steps in terms of like testing it thoroughly before that they just like try to throw it in there. I'm glad they have scaled it up and have actually proved that it works at every level. And I do like that it's a challenge system as opposed to anything else.
I was going to say, baseball would be weird if they didn't have an umpire behind home plate. I know there's some people like just replace them all and make it all automated. It just wouldn't feel right, which maybe is a stupid reason for wanting to keep umpires, but like it just wouldn't look right. So I'm glad
baseball's absolutely.
Baseball's all about tradition. Like that's
nostalgia. That's makes the game great.
I mean, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I was thinking about this today. Like, for me, at least, referees are like a part of sports, whether it's baseball, whether it's basketball, whatever, whether it's football, whatever it is. And obviously there are certain things, and more so in basketball and football, to where like it's a judgment call. So like, a robot or AI wouldn't necessarily be able to make the call, at least not currently. But I do think that like part of sports is that there's like a human element to it, and you're trying to adjust to the referee and you play a slightly different way. I think that's part of like the talent that you have to have as a player in order, like you have to adjust to how the rules are being called. I think that makes sports more interesting, to be totally honest.
Yeah. Human error and variation absolutely like have a place, I think, for a lot of things. Like,
I think the problem with some sports is that we know too many referees' names. If you're a good ref, I should know your name. Scott Foster, looking at you too, Angel Hernandez.
But like, I think soccer has struck a really nice balance for that. It's like, it's still very much within the referee's decision to, give advantage or let certain things play, especially when it comes like to stoppage time and like possession, all that kind of stuff. Right. But when the things that matter, like, is that a goal? Like, is that offsides? Like, those are things that the computer can be like definitively yes or no.
Yeah.
So I think soccer struck a really nice balance. I'm sure they're going to tweak baseball. I'm sure they'll be like maybe more challenges. Maybe I don't know, when we get to like extra innings or like in postseason ball, once it's been proven enough, it's like no no umpires allowed in post. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be so many different changes with it.
Well, that's my concern, is that like with soccer, obviously, like part of that is the nature of the sport. It's kind of what I was talking about with basketball and football, to where it's like there are a lot of human judgments that come into play with that. Where my concern with baseball is that realistically, is there anything in baseball other than ejecting players or everything? Is there anything in baseball that is technically a human, like that a robot couldn't do, whether it's whether somebody's foot is on the bag before they're thrown out, or like, that's what I'm talking about. Is there anything in baseball that, like foul lines, like a robot could do that, strike ball zones? That's my point though. Is like, I think baseball needs to be more protected from that, because I think the human variation makes it more interesting. And it's the only thing where it's like the other sports have rules that are human judgment, where baseball doesn't, is what my concern.
I mean, it's like I brought up tennis earlier too. Tennis is the same way. Realistically, you don't need a judge in tennis at this point, because the players will play it if it's in, and if they think it's out, they're just gonna, appeal. So you can have a buzzer go off and say it was out, like the umpire would say, it's out. But they still have a judge sitting up there in the chair, so
making himself feel real important.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next time, this is just kind of honorary one. Long time chaplain for Loyola Chicago's men's basketball team, Sister Jean, has retired at 106.
She's still fucking kicking?
Yeah. 106.
Holy shit.
The school's student newspaper, the Loyola Phoenix, announced her retirement earlier this month. Sister Jean rose to the spotlight during Loyola's Chicago trip to the Final Four in the 2018 NCAA tournament. So, Goat. Legitimately the GOAT. It's crazy.
106. She was born just after World War One. I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah.
She actually lived through the Great Depression. There's not a whole lot of people out there that can still say that.
I mean, she looks great for 106.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So yeah, shout out to her. Shout out to Sister Jean. And then one last headline here. Unfortunately, a bit of a sour note. Houston Rockets guard Fred VanVleet will likely miss the entire 2025-2026 season after sustaining a torn ACL during a recent offseason workout. That is a brutal blow to the Houston Rockets, in all honesty, after obviously getting Kevin Durant.
I want to preface what I'm going to say next by saying I feel bad for VanVleet, but Katie's excuse machine's already up and running, baby. Rockets don't do well this year. And we're going to have VanVleet all year,
Oh, he's already taken to Twitter. He's already started the
guys. We can't blame KD if the Rockets don't do good this year because they don't have VanVleet.
They don't have the supporting cast, man. Yep. KD can't do everything.
So obviously wish Fred VanVleet all the best. Hopefully he makes a very swift and healthy recovery. And we hope to see him back as soon as possible. We want everybody to remain healthy, and we want the competition to be at the highest point in the NBA. I also saw the other day that Jason Tatum wasn't completely ruling himself out of playing this season. He went on I think he went on Stephen A's show or something like that, and was like, I haven't said that I'm not playing this season. So kind of a big call from Mr. Tatum there.
I also like saying things that, don't really have any scientific or medical backing, and just be like off vibes.
Did you guys see Zion's most recent picks?
Yeah, has
oh yeah, he's kind of shredded.
They took away his dash pass, and jeez. Yeah, I'm saying that as the 5'9", 200+ pound dude, like really throwing stones in a glass house, but
yeah. There is one last thing I want to do really quick, and we'll breeze through it, gentlemen. I had a little bit of a game prepared, and we'll breeze through real quick. This is a little quiz here. So it was NBA top 25 by category. I just want to see if you can rattle off the top 25 NBA players of all time by points. I just want to see how many you can name. Go down the list. You don't have to go in order, but just try to name them. NBA top 25 all time by points, and I will take your answers as they come. We'll limit it to 7 minutes, and we'll get out of here.
Malone Diddler.
Karl Malone is, in fact.
I don't know why that was just,
Okay, so funnily enough, this is a Sporkle quiz, and you also got Moses Malone, coincidentally.
Excellent. Good work, Robbie. Nicely done.
And Max, get lunch.
But let's knock off the top two on the list. LeBron and Wilt.
Yeah.
Kareem. Sorry, not Wilt.
You said Will. I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. I mean, Wilt is on that list. So
yeah, I knew Wilt was on the list, but I did.
Dirk is on the list. Yes.
Kobe.
He is on the list.
Tim Duncan.
He is on the list.
Michael Jordan.
Where's Duncan?
He is. It's like 18, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Michael Jeffrey Jordan is on the list. You have the top 7.
Do we have like a Dwayne Wade?
Steph Curry is 24. So
I was like, he's got to be there soon.
Dwayne Wade is not on the list for all-time points.
David Robinson.
He is not on the list for all-time.
Let's go to the logo.
Mr. West is not on the list for all-time points.
Carmelo Anthony?
I know for a fact Carmelo is on this list. Yes,
KD has got to be on that list. We just were talking about him.
Right under Wilt, actually. Durant is higher up there than most people give him credit for, I will say. He's top 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are missing 1 out of the top 10. Carmelo is 10, so you're missing number 9 out of the top 10.
Do we say Shaq?
You did not say Shaq, and he is number 9. Good job.
Okay,
Rounding out the top 10. Very nice. The next one you have is Moses Malone at 12, so you're missing 11, and then a few spots in between there. So
I'm trying to think about longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like more modern, they just scored more points.
Yep.
Lots
of 3. I think I have one that the only missing. I think he's higher up there.
Dr. J or Patrick
Irving.
Ewing.
Irving is not on the list. Ewing is not on the list either.
We don't have like a Steve Nash hanging around, do we?
Nash is not on the list. I'll give you a hint. Think lefty. I'm thinking of one specific guy, but lefty who had a lot of 3s.
Ray Allen?
Well, he's
not a lefty, but
no, he's not on the list. Lefty who is still playing and had a lot of 3s out of his prime, but is still kicking around.
Klay Thompson?
It's not Klay Thompson. No,
I don't think he's on the list. Yeah,
he's not on the list.
Enough.
Not on the list. I actually did type it in, the guy I was thinking of, and he is actually number 11, which I didn't think he was that high, but he is. So
I'm struggling. I'm forgetting who I.
James Harden.
It is James Harden. That's who I was referring to.
About Damian Lillard.
Nice. Let's see if he's on the list. He's not on the list, but he's on.
I figured you would have hit enough 3s, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is there anybody else you can come up with? If not, we can call it. But I was just.
I mean, he was in the league forever, but I don't think like Stockton scored enough points. Pippen
He did not either. But
Elgin
funnily
Baylor.
enough, we love Elgin Baylor on this podcast. Funnily enough, though, this is like top 25 every category. So like the names I'm typing in, they're popping up in other spots too. But just the
so we're missing like 13 on essentially.
Yeah, you have Duncan and Curry within that, but yes, you are missing 13 on essentially. All-time lists, positions, 3s. Just trying to. I don't know. Just trying to.
It's also a very tough thing to do at the end of the night where we have not talked about basketball at all.
I know, but we got to get in there a little bit. Well, we talked about Fred. We talked about Kevin Durant's burner accounts. I mean, we did.
That's normal for us, though.
Yeah. You have 30 more seconds, and then we will call it. And then
Dominique Wilkins.
Dominique. That is correct. One above Tim Duncan.
Hey, good pull.
There it is. Dominique
was Wade on there?
No,
I said Wade was not on there.
Pau Gasol.
Okay.
Amari Stoudemire?
Rudy Gay, Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter.
Hey! Rudy Gay's crazy.
Vince Carter is on that list because he played for so damn long.
That's fair.
Shout out.
Paul Pierce?
Oh God, I hope not.
KG? Did KG score enough points?
Paul Pierce is just under Tim Duncan. So yes, he is
what about Kevin Garnett?
KG is just above Vince Carter. So now you guys are
cooking now.
Throwing out bullshit.
Honestly, I looked at my screen on the left and I was on Discord, and Paul Pierce was still on my screen from the sus brackets. So I thought of Paul Pierce.
Kyle Korver, is he on? He's on the 3s though. That's crazy. I was just kidding.
Reggie Miller.
Okay, let's see. No, he's on a lot of other lists though. but no, he's not on the all-time points
Clyde
list.
Drexler.
Little bit of Drex.
Clyde the
No,
Great.
he's not.
Gary
He's not
Payton.
on the list. Gary Payton.
We didn't name
not
enough
on the list.
Lakers, I don't think.
I said Elgin Baylor. Who else do you need?
Real.
Logo,
Good.
Kareem, LeBron.
Did you
Kobe.
name the other, the point guard?
Magic Johnson?
Derek Fisher?
Larry Bird?
Yeah, we did leave out.
Derek Fisher?
He said point guard, bro. He lives way more rent-free in my head than Magic.
Lamar Odom?
By the way, who were the last two guesses? You said Bird,
Larry Bird and Magic?
Larry
not
Bird
on
Magic?
the
Really?
Yeah, they're not.
You know, I think Isaiah Thomas?
They're not on. There's no way Isaiah's on.
I'm thinking through the dream team.
Yeah, fair strategy, actually.
God, what was, you said Curry was 24? That's crazy.
Yeah, Curry's 24.
I would have thought he was higher. I would have thought Harden was lower and Curry was higher, but like, I guess Curry did like kind of get a little.
Is Russell Westbrook on this list?
Let's see if Westbrook. I can't remember. Is this like outdated? I'm not sure. Westbrook is on this list.
Hey.
Giannis isn't on this list yet.
No, I can't imagine.
No, he's not.
Manu Ginobili. He did play for a while.
He's not on the list. He's not on the
Where
list.
is he? Manu Ginobili all-time points.
So I'm gonna give you 10 more seconds, and then I'm gonna call it for the benefit.
How many are we missing?
You're missing 6.
Where does it stop? What is 25? What's the cutoff?
The amount of points?
Yes.
25,292.
Damn, that's a lot of fucking points.
Yeah. I mean, I never got buckets like that. You know what I mean?
Facts. We didn't say like Hakeem.
True. The Dream. There it is. Yep.
Yo,
A lot of lists. All right. 10.
I got nothing else.
9, 8, 7. Robbie Sagan. 6, 5, 4. 3.
The big
Gilbert
O.
Arenas.
Oscar Robertson. He had all the triple doubles. He had to get some
Robertson
buckets.
is on that list. Buzzer beater. Gilbert Arenas is not on that list.
Agent Zero.
Agent Zero.
I'm going to click the give up button. Only missing 3 or 4. So really not that bad. Really not that bad.
So I just pulled up the list too. And DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan
Is that
Crazy.
25?
Shout out DeMar.
23. Alex English. Didn't think you guys were going to pull that.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pull that out.
Brother,
man.
my bag is not that deep.
And 19. John Havlicek, old school Boston Celtics.
Maybe should have
And
gotten
then-
him, but
Gun to my
would not
head,
have.
yeah.
Would not have.
And number 13, Elvin Hayes is the last one that you guys. I think you guys did pretty well.
That's simply exposing us as not true ball knowers. Those names right there not being pulled out. I think
He was
exposes
born
us a
in
little
World
bit.
War II. That I mean, you know, like
Havlicek we probably should have gotten.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, that will wrap up today. Lots of fun stuff. Lots of football. So we will be back next week. Robbie, you want to sign us out?
Sure. For myself, Ryan and Connor, thank you again for listening. Maybe we'll throw something other than football in next time in a little bit bigger capacity. Probably not, though, so don't hold us to that. Please go like, subscribe, comment, follow, all of those things on all social media platforms. Thanks again for listening, and please gamble responsibly.
I got to wipe my ass. I do a terrible job at that.
You guys send.
What do you mean you do a terrible job of wiping your ass?
I don't do it very well.
It's kind of crazy, not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's. I mean, as your brother,
Uh-huh.
how am I supposed to respond to that?
I think that means you were a bad big brother that you didn't teach him how
You
to
didn't wipe my
properly
ass.
wipe his ass. Yeah, I think that's on you.
Brother, was I supposed to be like
Yeah, you're supposed
In
to
there, in the
Without
shit.
it.
with the camcorder, like sending the huddle link, like after the rep? Like, what are we talking
You see
about?
that John Gruden voice clips like X right double ready fucking break.